There are what I think are only the 12 letters of correspondence that I gotta go collect. They're only in Westminster. They also seem to only be on the royal grounds, which is good. I never got a quest for it, so I don't know if there's gonna be any cutscenes I'm gonna miss because nothing's popping up. I'm gonna go ahead and get them and then mash them together, because if there's an order, they're not marked in an order, so I'll have to put them in order post rec. One of the letters is right here. So right at the Westminster, does it give a name? The Buckingham Palace top area. It's right here. Climb onto this ledge. And of course, it doesn't automatically open it. This is April 27th, 1865, to the King of the Belgians. Most beloved uncle, your true precious little letters of the 23rd and the 25th have touched me deeply. That you should think of writing to me when you were feeling weak and unwell is too kind. Dr. Jenner has written daily to me, and he laments deeply that you did not in the beginning follow their advice and did not take enough nourishment, which would have prevented all this sinking and weakness. Beloved uncle, I earnestly and seriously entreat you never to neglect the doctor's advice again, and to think how valuable your life is for all Europe. Not to speak of me and your children. Okay. They're meaning including them, yeah. We have most extraordinary weather. Real July, with a perfectly cloudless sky and deep blue sea. It is indeed quite marvelous and not wholesome. See, I don't know who's writing these. Oh, I just looked at the bottom. It's Victoria. These American news are most dreadful and awful. One never heard of such a thing. I only hope it will not be catching elsewhere. I heard from the dear Countess. The extract I sent you before was from Vicky, and she is most favorable to the idea of Prince Christian of Austenburg, and the thing would now be to see how by degrees it could be naturally brought about. I will send you the copy of what she says about it tomorrow. I hope to hear your dear opinion. Ever your devoted and unhappy niece, VR. Which I'm guessing is Queen Victoria? Oh, it says it right here. They will all be from Queen Victoria. Well, that would have helped. Let's get our next letter. You shouldn't care if I read this, right? April 29th, 1865, to Miss Lincoln. Dear Madam, though a stranger to you, I cannot remain silent when so terrible a calamity has fallen upon you and your country, and must express personally my deep and heartfelt sympathy with you under the shocking circumstances of your present dreadful misfortune. No one can better appreciate than I can, who am myself utterly broken-hearted by the loss of my own beloved husband, who was the light of my life, my stay, my all, what your sufferings must be and I earnestly pray that you may be supported by him to whom alone the sorely stricken can look for comfort in this hour of heavy affliction. With a renewed expression of true sympathy, I remain, dear madam, your sincere friend, Victoria R. She doesn't say Queen Victoria after she sends any letters. Got a letter all the way down here at the Royal Muse.
It's really as simple as that.
I don't know what a Royal Muse is. No, you're not good enough, my dude. Why you just got one of the Queen's letters over here? Hi? You look too fancy to be standing over here. Okay. Suspicious. May 21st, 1865. From Miss Lincoln. I thought all these letters were from the Queen to other people. Madame, I have received the letter which your Majesty had the kindness to write, and am deeply grateful for its expressions of tender sympathy, coming as they do from a heart which, from its own sorrow, can appreciate the intense grief I now endure. Accept, madam, the assurance of my heartfelt thanks, and believe me in the deepest sorrow, your Majesty's sincere and grateful friend, Mary Lincoln. She calls the Queen madam? Next letter. I also just want to point out, you guys aren't getting this because I'm not recording those parts. I'm singing the We Just Got a Letter song from Blue's Clues, but I'm doing it in like a different voice every time. How do I get onto this island, Evie? There we go. And making myself laugh. All right, what do we got here? June 13th, 1865. To the Prince of Wales. My dear Bertie, I fear I cannot admire the names you propose to give the baby. I had hoped for some fine old name. Frederick is, however, the best of the two, and I hope you will call him so. George only came over with the Hanoverian family. Hanoverian. I don't know who those are. However, if the dear child grows up good and wise, I shall not mind what his name is. Of course, you will add Albert at the end, like your brothers. As you know, we settled long ago that all dearest Papa's male English descendants should bear that name, to mark our line, just as I wish all the girls to have Victoria at the end of theirs. I lay great stress on this, and it is done in a great many families. Okay. They're talking about the creation of last names? Because they already have last names. Talking about the using of middle names as a way of honoring family members. Neither of my two middle names are anyone in my family. So it's not really something that happens here in America. I mean, it is for, I guess, people from other countries and other, backgrounds. But my white and African American background did not denote a middle name relative. That made sense. Next letter. We just got a letter. January 22nd, 1866. To Earl Russell. Not Earl Russell. Earl as in it's his title. Russell. Right? I don't know. The Queen can assure Lord Russell that he need be under no apprehension of her not arriving in time for the opening of Parliament. If she has the whole Monday open, she can go when she likes, and with Alberta, she has no longer cause to fear a bad passage. To enable the Queen to go through that what she can only compare to an execution, it is of importance to keep the thought of it as much from her mind as possible, and therefore the going to Windsor to wait 2 whole days for this dreadful ordeal would do her positive harm. The Queen has never till now mentioned this painful subject to Lord Russell, but she wishes... Isn't she writing these? Why is she talking in the... What? The Queen? Okay. But she wishes once for all to just express her own feelings. She must, however, premise her observations by saying that she entirely absolves Lord Russell and his colleagues from any attempt ever to press upon her what is so very painful an effort. The Queen must say that she does feel very bitterly the want of feeling of those who ask the Queen to go to open Parliament. That the public should wish to see her she fully understands and has no wish to prevent, quite the contrary. But why this wish should be of so unreasonable and unfeeling a nature as to long the witness the spectacle of a poor, broken-hearted widow, nervous and shrinking, dragging in deep mourning, alone in state as a show, where she used to go supported by her husband, to be gazed at without delicacy of feeling, is a thing she cannot understand, and she never could wish her bitterest foe to be exposed to. That was a long run-on sentence there, Queenie. She will do it this time, as she promised it, but she owns she resents the unfeelingness of those who have clamored for it, of the suffering which it will cause her. Nervous as she now is, she can give no idea, but she owns she hardly knows how... Who wrote this? But she owns she hardly knows how she will go through it. Were the Queen a woman possessed of strong nerves, she would not mind going through this painful exhibition. But her nerves, from the amount of anxiety and constant and unceasing work which is quite overwhelming her, as well as from her deep sorrow, are terribly and increasingly shaken, and she will suffer much for some time after from the shock to her nervous system which this ordeal will occasion. It is hard when she works and slaves away all day until late at night not to be spared at least such trials. That was like AI wrote a letter from the Queen. What happened? I mean, I know what happened. Her husband died and she became depressed and they wanted her to still do Queen things because they're like, you're not a person, you're a symbol. But like, man, that letter. I'm hearing gunshots here at Buckingham Palace. They're not by me. They're not by my people. Maybe it is by my people. Oh, yeah, next letter. February 6th, 1866. From the Queen's Journal. A fine morning, terribly nervous and agitated. At 10:30, left Windsor for London, with the children, ladies, and gentlemen. Great crowds out, and so I had, for the first time since my great misfortune, an escort, dressed after luncheon, which I could hardly touch. She could hardly touch her lunch. Wore my ordinary evening dress, only trimmed with miniver, and my cap with a long, flowing tulle, or tulle? I think it's tulle veil. A small diamond and sapphire coronet, rather at the back, and diamonds outlining the front of my cap. No. Wrong one, this one. It was a fearful moment for me when I entered the carriage alone and the band played. Also, when all the crowds cheered and I had great difficulty in repressing my tears. Our two dear, affectionate girls were a true help and support to me, and they so thoroughly realized all I was going through. The crowds were most enthusiastic, and the people seemed to look at me with sympathy. We had both windows open in spite of a very high wind. When I entered the house is in caps, so is she talking about Buckingham or is she talking about House of Parliament, which was very full, I felt as if I should faint. All was silent and all eyes fixed upon me, and there I sat alone. I was greatly relieved when all was over and I stepped down from the throne, so Buckingham Palace. So thankful that the great ordeal of today was well over and that I was enabled to get through it. Okay, so still grieving over the death of her husband. That wasn't meant to sound insensitive. I don't know if it did. But that's so far what all of these letters have been about. I just want to knock these guys out, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because of all the times they shot at me for just walking around. My next letter's just right around the corner. That's helpful. We just got a letter. I can see my breath. What? October 16th, 1866. To the Prince of Wales. Dear Bertie, I yesterday evening, after dinner, received your letter of the preceding day on the subject of your visit to St. Petersburg. That you should like to see Russia and, above all, to be present at the marriage of dear Alex's sister. And that Dagmar should wish to see her kind brother-in-law's face at so trying a time. I think perfectly natural. I own... Oh, wait, yeah, that was a comma, not a period. I own I do not much like the idea. First, I think it is a bad time of the year for you to go there. Secondly, that your visit to St. Petersburg, as you will remember, I told you was 2 years ago you wished to go to Dagmar's marriage with the other Cesarewitch, ought to be for itself alone, and not on such an occasion. And thirdly, I think the government overrate the importance of it in a political point of view. These are my reasons against it, and to that I may add another, which, dear child, in cap with a cap, you know I have often already alluded to, viz. I don't know what that means. Viz. Colon. You're remaining so little quite at home, and always running about. The country and all of us would like to see you a little more stationary, and therefore I was in hopes that this autumn and winter this would have been the case. However, if you are still very desirous to go now, I will not object to it. And that's where the letter cuts off, because for some reason Evie doesn't want to keep reading. It's fine by me. Let Birdie do what Birdie gonna do. I don't know why the Queen's letters are in the park, but okay. Hey, kitty. Sorry I can't pet you. May 22nd, 1867. Dearest Bertie, these lines will be given you on my birthday with the insignia of the Order of the Thistle, which I know you wished much to have, and which therefore I wish to give you on my poor old sad birthday. Once so happy and bright, I hope it will be quite a surprise to you. I mean to give dear Arthur, who is now 17, the garter of this on the same day. Oh, I keep pressing the wrong one. I would also have given Artie the office of Constable of the Round Tower, but his home is not properly in England, and the income is of no consequence to him. I shall give it to poor Victor, and would ask you to tell it him in my name, saying to him at the same time that I thought he ought now to be very prudent and not to embark in any speculation. You should impress this strongly upon him. As Lynchen and Christian live at Frogmore, I mean to make Christian Ranger of Windsor Park. His last name is not Ranger, which will give him some pleasant occupation and be a help to General Seymour. But it will make no difference whatever as to the shooting, which remains entirely in my hands and under my direction. Victoria. Yeah. Let's get our next letter.
All right, here's one.
Yeah, thief's just gonna have to get away. I got a letter to read. Oh, please no. Oh no, this looks bad. To Lord Charles Fitzroy. Lord Charles Fitzroy, having always been so kind to the Queen in all that concerns her convenience and comfort, and having only lately informed her that the Duke of Beaufort so completely understood her wishes and entered into her feelings respecting her faithful Brown, and having also her last year that people quite understood, is going as an upper servant with her carriage. And he, Lord Charles, thinking there should be no difference in London to the country, and moreover, having taken him everywhere with her for 2 years on public as well as private occasions, she is much astonished and shocked at an attempt being made by some people to prevent her faithful servant going with her to the review in Hyde Park, therefore making the poor, nervous, shaken Queen, who is also accustomed to his watchful care and intelligence, terribly nervous and uncomfortable. That's one sentence. Oh man, why? Whatever can be done, the Queen does not know on this occasion, or what it all means, she does not know. But she would be very glad if Lord Charles could come down tomorrow morning any time before luncheon, that she may have some conversation with him on this subject. Not so much with a view as to what can be done on this occasion, but as to what can be done for the future to prevent her being teased and plagued with the interference of others, and moreover to make it completely understood once and for all that her upper Highland servant, whether it be Brown or another, in case he should be ill, replaces him, belongs to her outdoor attendance on state as well as private occasions. Queen will not be dictated to or made to alter what she has found to answer for her comfort, and looks to her gentlemen, and especially her equerries, setting her this right for the future, whatever may be done on this single occasion. If, when Lord Charles arrives, he would first go to Countess Blucher, he will hear from her what has passed. So I'm guessing from this one, what I can somewhat take away from it, and they mentioned it in a different letter. The queen had an escort because her husband passed away. So she has, I don't know if the escort is a romantic escort or if it's just she has someone that she's hanging around with. This Brown or anyone else. She's like, I'm the queen. I'm lonely. I should get to spend time with people. I'm still a human being. And everyone is still upset.
Because no one ever wants to.
Yeah, I got my Emerald Isle cape though. Guess we can. Oh, we can't take a look at that. Because I'm stinking. No. No! I'm trying to get out of the cart! No! Evie! I just wanted to look at my new cape. There it is. Let's get this next letter. Exhausted. All these letters I've been reading. It's gonna make no sense if this is the first one in order, right? Please be short. It is. Okay, good. From the Queen's Journal. General Gray asked to see me when I came in and said he was sorry to alarm me, but must show me a telegram from Mr. Hardy reporting that the mayor of Manchester had informed him, having the news from a reliable source, that it's the same but smaller, that the Fenians had said they meant to try and seize me here, and were starting today or tomorrow. Too foolish. Mr. Hardy added that special precautions should be taken. So General Gray asked to be allowed to send at once for a detachment of troops from Aberdeen, 93rd Highlanders, to be placed at Abergildy, but letting it appear as if it were for tomorrow's ceremony. He has also asked for additional police. So this letter here, which is unbelievably long, is just this letter here where the Queen sums it up in one paragraph. Ugh. Another letter in the park, of course. I also just woke this guy up when I came running up here. He was sleeping. And he went back to sleep. Okay. December 16th, 1867. To Lord Stanley. Is that the guy that's out here sleeping? The Queen has received Lord Stanley's letter of the 12th. She cannot doubt that is Lord Stanley's wish to observe the constitutional practice of taking the Queen's pleasure before he forwards dispatches of any importance to their destination. But she cannot approve of the irregular habit which has crept in, of sending off dispatches without her sanction having been previously obtained, trusting to the power of canceling them by telegraph, is disapproved. If disapproved, she would therefore certainly wish that the old custom of obtaining her approval before they are sent should be resumed. So, what the fuck? Man, British people are so passive aggressive. Do your job is what she's saying. Just say that. You get order from me. You know send. I tell you. That's what she should tell him. He's clearly an idiot. The Queen is not aware that she has ever failed in at once returning any box marked immediate. And when she is at Windsor, not even a single post need be lost by reference to her. She must also remark with respect to the dispatch in question that though dated the 9th, it was only sent from the Foreign Office on the evening of the 10th and reached her on the 11th. The Queen would further observe that Lord Stanley's remark that there is a wide difference between the expression of a personal opinion in conversation and the formal giving of advice by the government, etc., does not hold good, as the moment such conversations are recorded in official dispatches, supposed to be received the sanction of the sovereign, they entirely lose their character as private and personal communications. So maybe this really is Lord Stanley should kick you out because you refuse to follow orders. You just... It's just, I'm up. I don't know, it looked weird. It kind of looked like he tried to smell me, but I think he was just looking at something else. Okay.